Happy Thursday, Rockers. I'm Jake Ostrov. We've got a fantastic show lined up for you. It is October 31st, 2019. Weather watcher Kyle Ryman will give you the regional big picture forecast for the day. We'll be taking a look at a couple of spooky stories in celebration of Halloween. Later on, we'll be talking to Sweeney Todd from LTC's production of Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, and Rebecca Madeira, who plays Mrs. Lovett in the musical Thriller. We've got tons to get to. Let's wake up, Rutgers. Hello and welcome, Rutgers. It's great to be here on this spooky Thursday morning. And as always, we're here to wake you up every Thursday morning this semester with all the exciting news, events, and weather. And happy Halloween. Yeah, I'm not just dressed up as a duck for the heck of it. No, it's Halloween. I hope everyone's dressing up. We want to see your best costumes. Make sure you tweet at Wake Up Rutgers. Show your Halloween spirit. And whether or not you're going out to a party, trick-or-treating, or you just want to dress up and hang at home, I hope you have a nice, safe day. Hopefully the weather's good. We'll check out, plenty with our weather guy, Kyle Ryman, a little bit later on in the show. News and events, as always. We got a couple of great interviews. And, normally we do the Paint the Town Scarlet. Well, this time we've got a special Halloween treat. Some spooky stories. New Jersey is one of the oldest states in our country, and there are a lot of myths and folk tales that go along with it, so we'll explore a couple of those, especially in relation to New Jersey, but that's coming on a little bit later in the show. It's going to be a really fun show, as you can tell. I mean, I'm dressed up as a duck. You know what? We're already off to a great start, so it should be a lot of fun for the rest of the show in the next half hour. Before we get to the rest of the show, let's see how much you know. How long has trick-or-treating been around for? We'll find out the answer after this.
Want to get away from the stress of school but can't get off campus? Well, fear no more. Located right in the middle of the Livingston Student Center is the Rutgers Zone. Between the racing games, sports games, and a bar full of food and ice cream, there's never a dull time. It's the perfect place to kick back, relax, and hang with your friends. Or, if you're a part of an organization, host your next event. The Rutgers Zone is open from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. from Mondays to Wednesdays, 12 p.m. to midnight on Thursdays to Saturdays, and 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Sundays. To find out more information about the Rutgers Zone, visit studentcenters.rutgers.edu/Rutgers Zone.
Welcome back, Rutgers. Before the break, we asked, how long has trick-or-treating been around for? Now it's time to find out the answer. Trick-or-treating has existed since medieval times. Back then, it was known as guising in Scotland and Ireland. Young people dressed up in costumes and asked for money or food in exchange for songs, poems, or other tricks. Today, the tradition has morphed into children getting dressed up and asking for candy. And I'm sure as a kid, Halloween trick-or-treating is a highlight of your year. You look forward to it all year. And hopefully, I know it's raining right now, but hopefully the weather's going to clear up for tonight, and it's going to be a nice Halloween night for some trick-or-treating. So I'm going to go over to my guy, Kyle Ryman, with the weather.
Good morning, Rutgers. Weather watcher Kyle Ryman here bringing you your Halloween forecast on this edition of Wake Up Rutgers. Starting your morning off right with your current readings right now, 64 degrees and rainy conditions across the New Brunswick area. Dew point is 60 degrees, brings our humidity up to 93%. We have a south wind coming from the south at 6 miles an hour, and precipitation 0.2 of an inch. We could see more later on for the day. And that brings us into our headlines for today. Going into the weekend, are we going to be seeing a rained out Halloween this year? I'll talk about that more with your regional forecast. A cool off to start next weekend, and beautiful weather to start off next week. I'll talk about that more with your 7-day forecast later on. Looking at the current radar right now, overall just dreary conditions across the Northeast. Overcast conditions with scattered showers. You see most of those scattered showers making its way through New Jersey as we speak. And for the next few hours, you can expect those showers to linger on throughout the day today bringing a damper on any trick-or-treating plans for tonight. And you can expect the heaviest of those showers from the New Brunswick area around the overnight hours going into tomorrow morning, so keep your umbrellas handy for those overnight commuters. But overall, should clear out during the afternoon hours, bringing us a clear Friday evening. Now for your spooky local forecast, you can expect a high of 73 degrees with rainy conditions with a south wind of 10 to 15 miles an hour. That rain will persist going into tonight. Rainy and windy conditions with a low of 47 degrees with winds coming out of the south-southwest at 15 to 25 miles an hour. You could see gusts up to 35 miles an hour tonight, so keep that in mind if you're trick-or-treating and secure any loose articles. Make sure you don't go anywhere because in a little bit I'm going to give you a regional forecast and a sneak peek of the next week's weather. I'm Weather Watcher Kyle Ryman. Back to you, Jake.
Well, maybe it's not going to be the driest day, but the cloudy, gloomy day just fits right into the spooky theme that is Halloween. So hopefully you can still go out and it's not too rainy so you can go get all the candy and trick-or-treat just like you normally will. Don't go anywhere. We got our news and events coming up after this.
Sometimes we all need an escape from the hustle and bustle of the busy New Brunswick lifestyle. Thankfully, just down Riders Lane, there is a serene escape. For many, Rutgers Gardens is one of the university's secret treasures. It is a 180-acre botanical garden made up of a variety of different natural areas, so there's something for every nature lover to enjoy. The gardens contain tons of beautiful natural backdrops. These include the bamboo grove, succulent garden, a variety of flower gardens, and an evergreen garden surrounding the Great Lawn. Or, if you want your visit to be more active, you can take a hike through the Hellier Woods on the 2-mile trail. All these sites are great for a relaxing getaway or to snag some post-worthy pics. If you are looking to visit the gardens, they are open 7 days a week, October through April from 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., and then May through September from 8 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. For more information, visit rutgersgardens.rutgers.edu.
Welcome back, Rutgers. Well, so much has happened over the last week, so let's hop into our news and events section. Former Rutgers football defensive end and current writer Michael Pawlowski has major success shaped by his time spent at Rutgers. Pawlowski attended Rutgers during the height of the Vietnam War. While balancing a heavy course load and attending practices was tough, he was always worried he might fail out and expose himself to the Vietnam draft. However, against all odds, Pawlowski attended Rutgers, became a football star, and an aspiring writer. In 1969, Pawlowski set a record for the most sacks in a game in Rutgers history. Also, Pawlowski's writing experience at Rutgers helped his career take off, as he has now written more than 100 books, ranging from humor to sports to children's pictures books. According to Pawlowski, he said that his ambition in life was simple. He wanted to be somebody. Therefore, he went for it and got it. And Pawlowski is just one of the many examples of Rutgers alums excelling after their time at Rutgers, and a lot of their success is thanks due in part to their time at Rutgers, whether that is someone who graduated in the late 60s, early 70s, or someone who is a recent undergraduate. This semester, Rutgers University graduate program in political science with a concentration in United Nations and global policy studies at the School of Arts and Science has 5 students working at the United Nations headquarters. This is the largest group since the program's inception in 2014. Also, the UN Studies program at Rutgers is the first academic unit in New Jersey to receive a New York State Board of Regents permission to operate in New York City. The graduate interns all want to understand the issues happening around the world and work towards solutions. They're thrilled to gain experience at the UN as they will learn how the work is an important contribution and help benefit future generations. And those are two recent and a little older success story from alumni. And if you're still a student here and you want to go to some events, here are some coming up this week. Tomorrow, Rupa is bringing Nick Kroll to Rutgers. If you don't know exactly who he is a comedian, actor, and producer. He performs 30 voices on the hit Netflix animated series Big Mouth, which is based on his childhood. He can be currently heard as Sergei in Secret Life of Pets 2 and as Uncle Fester in MGM's The Addams Family, set to be released in October 2019. The doors at the College Ave Gym open at 7 p.m. and the show starts at 8. Buy your tickets as soon as possible on getinvolved.tix.com. And I'm shocked that that event is not sold out. Nick Kroll is one of my favorite comedians. He has been for years. And Big Mouth just it's probably my favorite show to watch right now to stream. It's hilarious, highly recommend it. And Nick Kroll coming by is a can't miss event, just like this one as well. Starting next Tuesday on November 5th from 5 to 9 p.m., the Zimmerly Art Museum will stay open late every first Tuesday of the month. Come for the curator-led tours, live music, and opportunities to meet artists. The admission, activities, and refreshments are free. Check out additional details on zimmerlymuseum.rutgers.edu. And we detailed the happenings over at the Zimmerly Arts Center so often. They have so many great events and so many special deals for students, and their art after hours, it's one of the best events that they have. You should go check it out once a month starting next Tuesday. I can't believe it's already November, but I guess it is the last day of October. Halloween, obviously, hence the theme of the show. So instead of our normal Paint the Town Scarlet, we're going to take a bit of a right turn. We're going to go into a bit of the spooky side of New Jersey, a little bit of the folklore that goes along with our great state, the Garden State. So we're going to check out some spooky stories now.
Old Queens, the first building constructed on campus, completed in 1825. At the top of Old Queens is a bell tower, built especially for the bell that Henry Rutgers donated to the college. Also within the cupola resides the Gray Lady of Old Queens. Gray ladies are said to be ghosts of women who died in sadness over love or who are waiting for a lover to return. The Gray Lady of Old Queens has been seen dressed in an elegant lace gown, moving restlessly within the tower. We believe that she haunts this area because her love exemplified true heroism here and thus began his climb up the social ladder. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Join me in the fall of 1776. The Revolutionary War was in full swing. On November 30th, the Continental Army, led by General George Washington, stopped to rest at this very area after having been routed in battles at New York and Fort Lee by the British. On December 1st, redcoats were spotted directly across the river from where you are standing. Washington's men had not had enough time to recuperate, nor had the general been able to secure more men. Thus, he was forced to retreat. To cover Washington's withdrawal, a 20-year-old commander, Captain Alexander Hamilton, fired on the British and troops from this bluff overlooking the Raritan. This delaying tactic gave Washington and his dwindling army the time they needed to escape safely. Hamilton joined the rest of the army in Pennsylvania, where, on December 25th, the Continental troops crossed the Delaware River and won the Battle of Trenton. His courage earned the notice of General Washington, who selected Captain Hamilton to serve his aide-de-camp. During the American Revolution, war was suspended during the cold, snowy winter months. While they wintered, many dinners and other social gatherings were held for the officers and local gentry. Included on General Washington's guest list were the Miss Livingstons, Susanna, and Catherine. During the late 1700s, it was customary that only married or betrothed couples exchanged letters. However, after the army moved out, a flirtatious correspondence began between Catherine and Alexander. 20-year-old Alexander wrote, "I challenge you to meet me in whatever path you dare, and if you have no objection, we will even make excursions in the flowery walks of Kew." These words must have been welcome to a 26-year-old Catherine, considered to be on the threshold of becoming an old maid. The Livingstons were an old, wealthy family who were distantly related to royalty. Susanna and Catherine were the daughters of General William Livingston, commander of the New Jersey Militia, first governor of the state of New Jersey, and namesake of Livingston College. Alexander's hints at marriage might have been feasible if not for the difference in their social class. At the time, he was a nobody from a poor family, had very little formal schooling, and had no wealthy connections. The correspondence between the two ended after only a few letters. Alexander eventually married and would become the new country's first Secretary of the Treasury. But what happened to Catherine? 10 years after her correspondence with Alexander, at age 36, she married a merchant from Baltimore and had one daughter. Catherine died at age 62. Our Gray Lady is dressed in lace and passes slowly back and forth in the shadows of the tower. She pauses to look toward the southwest before vanishing. Administrators working on the third floor of Old Queens have reported footsteps passing to and fro above them in the unused attic of the building. People say you never get over your first love. Could the Grey Lady be Catherine keeping watch over Alexander as he slows the British advance across the river?
Well, that's just one of the two spooky stories that we're going to check out during the show today. But on the other side of this break, we're going to talk to Sweeney Todd, get to know a little bit about him. Heard he just had some big news, so we'll talk to him a little bit after this.
Hey, did you get your meningitis shot yet?
No, it's been a few years since I had my last one.
Oh, you gotta go. Rutgers is experiencing more and more cases of meningitis every semester, so you gotta keep yourself covered.
Rutgers Student Health is urging all Rutgers students to get up to date on their meningitis B vaccines. Meningitis B is a rare bacterial infection that has symptoms similar to the flu, but if left untreated can become fatal. The meningitis B vaccine is different from the meningitis vaccine required for all students living on campus.
Wow, that sounds really important. Where can I get my vaccine shot?
Good question. There are plenty of options you can pick from to fit your schedule.
You can go to your personal healthcare provider or go to your local pharmacy. You can also visit one of the Rutgers Student Health Centers located on Cook Douglas, College Avenue, Bush, and Livingston. Lastly, there is an on-campus vaccination clinic that will be held at the College Avenue Student Center from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the multipurpose room. As a bonus, all students who get their meningitis B vaccines and update their immunization records will be entered for a chance to win a $500 Visa gift card. Winners will be announced on September 13th, so make sure you set up an appointment and talk to your doctor today.
Wow, man, thank you so much for the help.
I'm just looking out for you, dude.
Hey.
Welcome back, Rutgers. Here with me is a barber from Fleet Street, Sweeney Todd. Thanks for coming on today.
It's a pleasure.
So, for anyone that's not familiar with who you are, can you introduce yourself to us, a little bit about you?
My name is Mr. Sweeney Todd. I run a tonsorial parlor above a meat pie shop run by my neighbor, Mrs. Lovett. She's quite the character. Recently, I just came back from London. I was sent away to prison for 15 years on a false charge because, well, a man wanted my wife, Lucy, and accused me of a false crime.
Well, now that you're out, it's Halloween. What are you going to do to celebrate?
Celebrate.
Yeah, it's Halloween. You know, I'm dressed like a duck. Are you going to dress up? You're going to go trick-or-treating? You know, do something?
I just got back from prison
Isn't that something to celebrate?
because my wife would... No!
All right. So, tell me then, if you're not going to go out trick-or-treating and celebrating, then what are you going to do? What's your favorite hobby?
I am told I am a skilled barber,
You get good reviews?
I'd say.
Well, I could actually use the shape up in a couple weeks. You pencil me in?
I could take a little off the top as well.
I'd like that very much.
Yeah.
So, what are you looking forward most to? I'm sure that, I know prison food's not always the best, so tell me, what's your favorite food that you're looking forward to? What's your favorite pie?
My favorite pie.
Yeah, I know it's very specific, but it's in the questions.
Well, if I'm going to be honest with you, I have to say banana cream. My God.
That is
Delicious.
delicious. I love banana cream pie.
So good.
It's the best.
Right?
It's so good.
Wow.
All right, so the last thing before we let you go, let's talk a little bit about your family and your friends. How would they describe you?
Is that a joke?
It's not supposed to be.
What have I just said to you? I've been in prison for 15 years. You think I have friends? You think I have family?
Wouldn't they be, happy to see you?
We're done here.
Well, all right. Well, Sweeney Todd, thank you for coming on, talking to us, getting, so I can get to know you a little bit better. We're going to keep with the theme of the show. We talked about a spooky story before. We're going to hop right to another spooky story, so make sure you check this out.
I am sure you are familiar with the story of the Jersey Devil, but for those of you who aren't, I will quickly brief you. The rumors about the Jersey Devil are many. One of the tales takes us deep into the history of the Revolutionary War. The Devil's mother was a young, vibrant woman from Leeds Point, New Jersey. One afternoon, she had the misfortune of coming across a wounded British soldier in the woods behind her house. She cared for him, bound his wounds, and nursed him to health in the secrecy of her home. They fell in love, but when the townspeople of Leeds Point found out about her illicit relationship, they cursed her and her 2 children. The cursed children born of the two lovers was a child of treason who was deformed beyond human recognition. The woman kept the child until the townsfolk, who feared his cursed and gruesome existence, threw him out of town. He disappeared for some years before rumors began of a grotesque creature wreaking havoc in the neighboring towns. The devil was seen many times in the following years. His hoof tracks were seen leaving the scenes of a slaughtered livestock and pets. Sightings were all over New Jersey as well as eastern Pennsylvania. He was described as standing about 3.5 feet tall, with a head like a collie dog and the face of a horse. He had a long neck, large wings, and crooked winding tail. His back legs were those of a crane with horse hooves, and his front like the paws of a lion. This gruesome creature roamed all of New Jersey, killing for food and for fun. In 1909, his appearances became much more numerous and widespread. It was in that year that he was seen in New Brunswick. All the trains coming and going from both New Brunswick and Trenton were loaded with armed conductors to guard against attacks from the Jersey Devil. Looking for a feast of tired travelers, there were numbers of cases that year of passengers who heard the flapping of his wings outside their windows or saw the glimmer of his hungry eyes sipping into the darkness of the night. In New Brunswick, there was never an actual attack, but the rumors of sightings were numerous. Some said they saw him around the train station, on the roofs of the train, and even pacing the gate outside of Old Queen's campus. The sightings of the Jersey Devil are nowhere as numerous today, but the strange set of tracks, movement in the shadows, and the glimmering eyes in the bushes could be the Jersey Devil looking for his next meal. So be careful.
Welcome back, Rockers. Here with me now is Rebecca Madeira, who plays Mrs. Lovett in Sweeney Todd and is an active member of the Livingston Theater Company. Thanks for joining me today.
Happy to be here.
So for those that aren't too familiar with it, what is the Livingston Theater Company?
So the Livingston Theater Company is Rutgers' premier musical theater organization. It's entirely student-run, which means every show is produced, put up, and performed by Rutgers students.
What shows do you have coming up?
So in 2 weeks, actually, we have Sweeney Todd, November 14th through 17th here in the Livingston Student Center. And then around Valentine's Day, we have She Loves Me, and then Mamma Mia in the spring.
I think you got your buddy behind you. Yeah, your neighbor, the barber.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for anyone that is interested in getting involved with the theater company, how can they do that?
Well, you can actually be as heavily involved or as lightly involved as you want, whether it's dropping in for a build one weekend to help work on the set, or you can direct an entire show. Basically, any role that you would have in a professional theater company, from marketing to business to production design, you can do it.
So for anyone that might not want to be involved in the actual performance aspect of it, but want to go to the shows, how can they go buy tickets?
So you can find it at rultc.org, which is our website, or you can find ticket information through Sabotix. There'll be links on any of our social media on Facebook, Instagram. Yeah.
Let's talk about you for a little bit. So being a part of the Livingston Theater Company, what's been your favorite part?
Honestly, I have made every friend that I've had at Rutgers through student theater. I think like all of my closest friends are some of the most amazing people that I've got to be a part of shows with. So, yeah.
You seem very passionate about theater. Tell us about where that passion started.
I'm going to be honest. I can't put my finger on a specific instance. I've been singing for as long as I could possibly remember, whether it's just watching along with American Idol on home or singing at church. I did my first play in probably 3rd grade, and it was all downhill from there.
I'm sure you've gotten better. And
yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I'm sure plenty of people are going to want to check this out, too. So for whether or not they want to get involved or want to buy tickets or just learn anything about the Livingston Theater Company, where can they go find more information?
rultc.org, and you can actually reach out to any of the contacts listed on the website for anyone on the executive board, or you can come to a build, or you can come to the show and, talk to us, make friends with us. All nice people.
Well, Rebecca, thank you so much for coming by. Last thing before we let you go, got any grapes?
No, this is a lemonade stand.
No, this is a TV show. We'll be back after this.
Being a Rutgers student isn't always as sweet as it seems. If you're not prepared, you might find yourself needing some help.
I need help. I can't find my term bill.
Luckily, help is here. Getting to and paying your term bill is as easy as tying your shoelaces.
To get to your term bill, just go to studentabc.rutgers.edu and press the button that says Pay Your Bill. From there, you can log in with your NetID or RUID. The site will direct you to your account summary where you can find your term bill for any semester.
Okay, but how do I pay my term bill?
Great question.
For payment options, just refer to the right-hand side column on your account summary page. It's that easy.
Wow, that was really helpful.
All in a day's work.
Well, we've talked a lot about our spooky stories and some spooky musicals coming up. Sweeney Todd, Levinson Theater Company coming up in 2 weeks' time. So hopefully as we get towards that 2-week period, and I know it's going to be a rainy day today, but hopefully the weekend and the week to come is going to be a little bit of a nicer forecast. So let's throw it over to my guy, Kyle, with the weather.
Thank you, Jake. Hey, Rutgers Weather Watcher Kyle Ryan back here with your regional forecast and a sneak peek of next week's weather. Overall for the region today, expect rainy conditions with temperatures in the upper 60s going into the 70s. You can see some thunderstorms down in D.C., and those thunderstorms will continue to linger into tonight's forecast. We could even see some thunderstorms as far north as Philadelphia and Lancaster, so keep that in mind if you're trick-or-treating in those areas. But overall, rainy conditions will continue throughout the night with temperatures dropping down into the 30s and 40s for tonight. And a sneak peek for next week's weather, you can see for your 7-day forecast today, 73 degrees as your high with rainy and windy conditions overall, bringing out damper on your Halloween. So I would not be surprised if you not see any trick-or-treaters out for tonight. Going into your weekend, though, mid-50s for the weekend with partly to sunny conditions. But as you take a look at our nighttime lows, temperatures will get as cool as 31 degrees. So make sure you bundle up for those nights. And going into the start of next week, you can see we have a little bit of a cool off on Monday, 53 and sunny, but a little bit of a warm up, 61 and 58 during the midweek with partly cloudy conditions. That's all I have for you here at Rutgers. You can tune into RUTV channel 23.5 every 15 minutes. Go leave a like on our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and use that hashtag RUWeather. And finally, subscribe to us on RUTV Weather Watcher. I'm Weather Watcher Kyle Ryman. Have an awesome Halloween, Rutgers. Back to you, Jake.
Well, it's been a muggy and rainy last couple of days. Hopefully we're going to see some sun sometime soon. I would take, I know it's a little warmer right now, but I would take some sun and cooler temperatures than rain and warmer temperatures. Not a fan of the rain, but what can you do? Hopefully it just dries up. In case you missed any part of our show, news and events, we talked about a couple of alums that are excelling in their field. One who's a former Rutgers football player who is now an accomplished writer. Another couple graduate students who are now working at the United Nations as interns. Got plenty of events coming up this weekend, including a performance by Nick Kroll tomorrow night at the College Ave Gym. It's one of a star-studded lineup that Rupa brings us every single semester. They brought their A game once again. Nick Kroll is a can't-miss event. We checked out some spooky stories, some of the folklore around the Jersey Devil, the legend of Old Queens, right here on campus. And then we talked to a couple members of Sweeney Todd. We talked to actually Sweeney Todd himself. Did a great job. And then Rebecca Madeira, who plays Mrs. Lovett in the upcoming musical for the Livingston Theater Company. Make sure you check out their show in a couple of weeks' time. Well, Rutgers, that'll do it for today's episode. For more events happening this week, you can go to getinvolved.rutgers.edu or ruevents.rutgers.edu. Follow us on social media by searching RU Network, and follow us on Twitter by searching @WakeUpRutgers. We love hearing from you. Thanks again for tuning in, and to Sweeney and Rebecca for joining us. Dressed as a duck, I'm Jake Ostrov. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next week.